Ever wonder how the Great Pyramid of Giza lost all that weight? No? Well, you're about to find out. Imagine the Great Pyramid as a young, plump monument fresh out of the blocks, literally. She was covered in beautiful casing stones, smooth and shiny, looking her best, ready to impress the world. But let's face it, we all know that maintaining that kind of glam is a full-time job. Over time, the Great Pyramid started to shed the casing stones one by one. It wasn't a fashion statement, you see. The pyramid wasn't trying to start a new trend in ancient architecture. The stones were removed, repurposed, and reused in other structures around Cairo. Talk about recycling before it was cool. So what happened? The Great Pyramid went on a diet, folks. And not just any diet, she embarked on the ancient Egypt diet plan. No, it doesn't involve eating only dates and figs, nor does it require worshipping cats. The ancient Egypt diet plan is all about letting go of the extra weight, literally. Lose the casing stones, lose the weight. Simple, isn't it? And boy did it work. She went from being a smooth and shiny debutante to a lean, mean, history-creating machine. And what a transformation it has been. The Great Pyramid is now the epitome of elegance and endurance, standing tall and proud, basking in the glory of her incredible weight loss journey. So the next time you're struggling with your own weight loss journey, remember the Great Pyramid. She didn't need fancy gym memberships or protein shakes. All she needed was time, patience, and a little bit of help from her human friends. So that's the secret behind the pyramid's weight loss, folks. Forget about keto. It's all about the ancient Egypt diet. Ever think climbing the stairs at work is hard? Try climbing the Great Pyramid. You know, the one in Egypt, not the one at that dodgy Las Vegas casino. We're talking about the real deal. The granddaddy of all Stairmasters, the Great Pyramid of Giza. This ancient wonder of the world was originally a whopping 481 feet tall. To put that into perspective, that's around the same height as a modern 40-story building. So, if you're struggling with climbing to the third floor of your office, imagine how the Pharaoh felt. He didn't have the luxury of an elevator or even a decent pair of sneakers. And speaking of the Pharaoh, let's talk about Khufu, the guy who commissioned this massive piece of rock. Now, Khufu was a man who knew how to make an entrance. I mean, you don't build a pyramid unless you're planning to be remembered. And remembered he was, not least for his impressive calf muscles. You see, climbing the Great Pyramid wasn't just a once-in-a-while thing for Khufu. Oh no, it was his daily workout routine. Every day, he'd climb up and down those steps, all 481 feet of them. And let me tell you, that's a lot of steps. More steps than your Fitbit can even count. So, next time you're huffing and puffing on the Stairmaster at the gym, just think about Khufu. Think about how he climbed his pyramid day in and day out, without so much as a protein shake or a motivational podcast to keep him going, and then maybe, just maybe, you'll feel a little bit better about your own workout. Because, let's face it, as tough as your gym's Stairmaster might be, it's got nothing on the Great Pyramid. So next time you complain about your gym's Stairmaster, just remember, it could be worse. You could be a pharaoh. Speaking of pyramid schemes, here's one that actually worked. Now, I know what you're thinking. A pyramid scheme that worked? That's as likely as a mummy running a marathon. But hold on to your sarcophaguses because this one's a doozy. We're talking about the Great Pyramid of Giza, the oldest and largest of the 3 pyramids in the Giza Pyramid Complex. Now, contrary to popular belief, this colossal structure wasn't built by an army of overworked, underpaid slaves. Nope, it was constructed by a well-compensated workforce. That's right, folks. The only pyramid scheme in history where the workers actually got paid. And we're not talking about a measly few grains of wheat here. These guys received a hefty amount of beer and bread for their toil. Now that's what I call a balanced diet. You see, ancient Egyptians were pretty savvy. They knew that to build a monument that would stand the test of time, you needed a happy and healthy workforce. So they treated their laborers quite well. These workers had access to medical care, regular meals, and even got days off. Not bad for a job that involved hauling 2-ton blocks of limestone, eh? In fact, this pyramid scheme was so successful that it created a kind of ancient Egyptian middle class. The workers lived in a nearby village where they could enjoy their beer and bread in peace after a hard day's work. They even had the freedom to express their creativity by scribbling graffiti on the pyramid blocks. Talk about workplace morale. So there you have it, the only pyramid scheme where everyone made out like a bandit. Well, except for the Pharaoh, who ended up dead. But hey, at least he got a killer tomb out of the deal, right? And that, my friends, is the story of the pyramid scheme that actually worked. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm off to invest in some pyramid-shaped real estate. Who's with me? Need directions? Don't ask the Great Pyramid? Now hold your camels. We know the Great Pyramid of Giza is many things: a tomb, an architectural marvel, a testament to ancient ingenuity. But one thing it is not, my friends, is a reliable compass. Yes, you heard me right. If you're lost in the desert hoping for a miraculous sign, don't look at the pyramid. It might just send you off in the completely wrong direction. Let's dig into this a bit. The ancient Egyptians, bless their hearts, did try to align the sides of the pyramid to the cardinal points of the compass, but you see, they were a smidge off. Just a smidge, mind you, but it's enough to make the pyramid a pretty terrible compass. It's like they were trying to bake a cake, but instead of using a recipe, they just winged it. A pinch of north here, a smidgen of east there, who needs exact measurements? That's not how you bake a cake, folks, and it's definitely not how you build a compass. Imagine you're an ancient Egyptian, toiling away under the hot sun, aligning these massive blocks of stone. You're sweating, you're grunting, you're probably cursing under your breath. And then, hundreds of years later, some wise guy with a modern compass comes along and says, "Hey, you're a few degrees off. Talk about a punch in the gut." But let's give our ancient friends some credit. They did the best they could with the tools they had, and they built something that has stood the test of time, even if it's a little off kilter. So, the next time you're wandering through the desert and you see the Great Pyramid, don't think of it as a faulty compass. Think of it as a monument to human ambition, determination, and a slightly skewed sense of direction. So remember, folks, if you're lost in the desert, don't rely on the Great Pyramid to point you in the right direction. Let's wrap up these pyramid facts, shall we? So we've learned that the Great Pyramid was on a serious weight loss plan. You see, it started its journey at a whopping 6 million tons. But after a few millennia of strict dieting, no carbs, no sugar, just good old desert sun and sand, it's trimmed down to a svelte 5.9 million tons. Talk about dedication. But hey, that's the price you pay when you're a timeless symbol of ancient civilization. Next, let's talk about our dear Pharaoh. We've all heard of the Stairmaster, but the Pharaoh took it to a whole new level. Literally. He built himself an eternal Stairmaster that's over 450 feet tall. Talk about a killer leg day. And let's not forget the cardio. Climbing those steps every day would give even the most seasoned gym rats a run for their money. Now, on to the pyramid scheme that actually worked. No, not the kind that leaves you broke and friendless. The Great Pyramid was a job creator, employing thousands of workers for over 20 years. And the best part, no one had to sell any dubious products or recruit their friends. All they had to do was move a few thousand blocks. And finally, we have the world's worst compass. The Great Pyramid may have been built with an incredible degree of accuracy, but if you're relying on it for directions, well, let's just say you might end up a little lost. But hey, at least it's consistent, right? It always points to the same place, nowhere in particular. And that's the Great Pyramid for you folks, a place where weight loss plans, stairmasters, pyramid schemes, and faulty compasses all come together in one hilarious package. Now, if only we could find the Pharaoh's gym membership card.